back in 2005. But when you look at the guys he lost those title fights to, you're talking about bona fide Hall of Famers, arguably great fighters like Juan Manuel Marquez, Marco Antonio Barrera, who he fought twice and gave a hell of a fight in their first contest. And in his last fight, his last two fights, Indonesia's Chris John, who is slowly putting together an arguably Hall of Fame resume.
You know, Rocky always comes up a little short. I mean, here's a guy who is so determined, but every now and then he comes up a little too short.
Juarez talked about that Chris John fight recently. He says you throw that in with some other fights, and I've been my own worst enemy. Some regrets in reflecting on the career of Rocky Juarez, but now a chance to take yet another step forward. And can he do so against Jason Litzau, the American boy, a fighter who really became a TV regular as an exciting action fighter who lacked just enough defense to make every fight fun.
Every fight is exciting. Here's a guy, Jason. When I first saw him, I was so impressed with this kid. He's like a Tommy Hearns, you know. He's tall, he's powerful, he's fast. But what happens at some point in the fight, if he gets hit, he goes right to slugging.
Can't help himself.
He just can't help himself.
Lost a featherweight title shot, did Litzau, against Robert Guerrero in 08. Has won 3 in a row at 130 pounds. Went to 135, now his second fight back down.
He had a good year, 2009. Won 3 in a row. Picked up the NABF junior lightweight title. But he says it's what happened out of the ring that's really going to aid him tonight against Rocky Juarez. He says that he has grown up. He has matured. Once upon a time, he was the kind of guy who was not just wild in the ring, he was wild outside of the ring, partying, eating the wrong kind of foods, chasing girls, all that fun stuff. He's a one-woman man now. He's dedicated to his family. He has matured. He is trained in a manner that a professional should train.
You know what? I told my brother he's a part-time fighter.
Let's send it up to Michael Buffer.
Gentlemen, from the Mandalay Bay of Las Vegas, Oscar De Loya's Golden Boy Promotions and Roy Jones Jr. Square Ring Promotions are proud to present the co-featured contest of the evening, sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T, a better 3G experience, and Southwest Airlines, bags fly free. This contest, supervisor at ringside is NABF Supervisor Joe Dwyer. The 3 judges in attendance at ringside, scoring the bout, Dick Houck, Robert Hoyle, and CJ Ross. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, referee Jay Nady. And now 10 rounds of boxing for the NABF Super Featherweight Championship. Introducing first, in the red corner, wearing red, white, and green, official weight 129 pounds, this Olympic silver medalist has a professional record of 28 victories, including 20 knockouts, with 5 defeats and 1 draw. From Houston, Texas, the challenger, Ricardo Rocky Juarez. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white with red, official weight 130 pounds, his professional record 26 victories, including 21 knockouts, with 2 defeats. From St. Paul, Minnesota, the NABF super middleweight champion, Jason, the All-American boy, Litzau.
10 rounds, NABF title. Touch gloves, let's go to work. Good luck.
Rocky Juarez, a little self-assessment. He says, I've always been a slow starter. It's taken him time to warm up. Litzau has had high drama early on in some of his fights. So we'll see what comes of it early on here tonight. Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins set to come your way after this. 10 rounds, Litzau and Rocky Juarez.
We see Jason using that great height and reach advantage, utilizing the ring, staying on the outside, giving angles. So what happens once he gets hit?
That's the question. Right now, he appears very calm.
If he can stick to that game plan, it'll serve him well. Juarez the kind of guy, though, that can dictate a change.
Rocky's doing the right thing, getting close, trying to walk his man down, get in the chest of Jason, and let those hands go. Both of them.
It's usually that left hook from Juarez that does the damage to his opponents. That's the punch Litzau has to watch out for.
Don't grab, let go, let go. Thank you.
Juarez tried to get to the inside that time with the left hand. Litzau back out at that safe range. Applies the jab.
You're holding.
Juarez able to work for a moment with the left hand on the inside to the body.
And both of these fighters can unleash beautiful combinations. Great hand speed, precision.
Don't grab. Don't hold.
That looping right hand by Rocky should be effective against the taller Jason.
Yep, smaller man trying to come in with that looping overhand right. Litzau trying to keep him at the end of those punches with a 1-2 there.
It's good poised action so far from both fighters. Kind of a difficult round to score.
Tactical and measured.
Going into these final 30 seconds, though, I would say that Juarez has this opening round in the bag.
That was really low. Score down here.
So a stern warning from Jay Nady to Rocky Juarez. It's working a little harder towards the bell.
Guess how many punches you threw that round? 55. Okay? That was a nice round. That's the perfect amount of punches to throw. But listen, I want you to keep circling to the right, okay? And your little right hand is sneaking over there every time. So keep sneaking over there. Push the gloves into his face with your jab, and then sneak the right hand, okay? Cut you up. What you did was cool. Don't follow this guy. Cut him off. You follow him. Cut him off. Cut him off. Understand? If we're going to do this round. Give me the box. Okay. Let's get sharp, baby. Let's get sharp.
Rocky Juarez receiving his final instructions. Jason Litzau. Both men know how critical this fight is in their careers. Juarez made a statement recently that he needs this to be a statement fight, that he's coming into this fight knowing that not only does he have to win, but he has to show people that he belongs still at the top level of the competition.
I think he makes a valid point. Even though he is a perennial contender, he has had 5 shots at a world title. And there are people out there, fight fans and boxing writers, who would question his getting a 6th shot without really earning it. They will argue that there are more deserving challengers out there who haven't had that first shot at a world title.
Rocky Juarez got great advice from his corner. They said, don't follow your man around, cut the ring off. And that's very good advice to get closer to Jason.
Critical against the taller Litzau, who, if he has his way, will just keep the fight where it currently is.
Come on, come on. Rocky. Thank you. Don't grab.
You know what's interesting is in a fight, with the shorter guy. He doesn't believe he can out jab the taller guy. But that's not true. The jab is effective, tall or short.
When Juarez shoots his jab out there, he lands. He's not busy with it.
He's not exactly. But it gets him closer.
Right, you think if he used that jab a little bit more, he would be able to get inside more effectively. Yeah.
There he doubles it up.
And
allowed him to close the distance for a moment, then he gave it up himself and stepped to the outside.
Well, Litzau was pawing with his jab. He wasn't shooting it out there.
Grab his arm. Let go.
That's a good point you bring up, though, Ray, about the misconception that obviously the shorter guy can't jab. In fact, it can be an even more useful tool for him to close that distance. Double it, triple it up, work your way in.
Just watch for how effective it is when he jabs. Look what happens.
Doubled it up, landed well.
Look what happens. Keeps him off balance.
Doesn't allow for Litzau to fire off and start his own offense as well.
Yeah, it appears to disrupt Litzau's rhythm.
Can be a neutralizing tool.
Right, he's suddenly not as busy.
And that's indeed the key. Look at the jab.
Begin to slow down for you. Do not follow the guy. Cut him out like you're doing. That little peg is going to do real good. He's slowing down a lot. You understand? He's doing a lot. But you got to follow the jab with something. When you get in there, you start moving. One, pump, pump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Just follow the jab. Don't leave the jab by itself. Remember? He comes in 2s and 3s. You're getting away with it, all right? You're doing good. That was 70 punches out.
Keep your hands up, Jay. You're punching from down here. That's why your punches are missing the mark. You got your hands here.
Your hands are too low.
You gotta pick your hands up and move your damn head. You're getting hit with too many jabs.
Well, here we see this posing, and Juarez comes with a straight right hand. Well, a looping right hand was very effective.
Kind of a short overhand right on the inside.
When Rocky gets inside, that's his fight. He should throw those shots, uppercuts into the body.
Needs a device to get himself there and to stay there. Litzau firing off that right hand. Juarez missing with the left. Now he jabs his way to the inside. Litzau quick to get that left hand tied up. Nady lets them work their way out.
Ray, do you think Litzau is waiting a little bit too much?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that Jason now is not as busy as he normally is. But again, with Rocky, the jab has been effective. He gets inside, but he just has to let those hands go.
And I would say Litzau needs to let his hands go from the outside.
Exactly.
And be first. He's taller, he's rangier. Or not rangier, but he's taller and he's faster.
Well, he is rangier and taller, and he has to take advantage of that. Or he should take advantage of that.
Juarez with those short arms, just giving that little up jab there. Litzau comes charging in. That time he is much the aggressor, landing 4 punches.
Litzau looks impressive when he lets his hands go.
I think Litzau's trying to find a well-balanced maturity as his career moves on, of losing that rap of reckless aggression, being a little more judicious, but yet the nature of him is of a guy that does prefer to let his hands go.
Well, he's a showman too, by the way.
He is, isn't he?
He's a showman.
It's part of his
We're not
personality.
seeing it early on here, but when a fight breaks out, when you get to that moment, he's quick to become that guy.
The thing about Juarez is he gradually beats up his opponents. He doesn't come out gangbusters and forces a firefight immediately.
A patient plotter. We'll try to make it erosion and attrition.
Don't hold him. Don't hold him. That was low.
So he's not waking up the beast in Jason Litzau. And Litzau is still, he's pretty good in spots from mid-range and when they are in close, when he lets his hands go. But you just get the feeling that if he had a busy jab from the outside, a busy sharp jab from the outside, mix that with his lateral movement, that Rocky wouldn't be able to touch him.
If he control, yes, he could control the tempo of the fight.
Time. Nice round, guys.
Of course, still to come tonight, our main event, the rivals. Being taped up is Roy Jones Jr. He has said that tonight is a night that he feels he is actually at his best. But we've seen the age in the diminished defensive reflexes and the effects of a few knockouts and headshots. Will Hopkins be able to expose that tonight?
Litzau had some good moments towards the end of the third round, and we see some sort of left uppercut, left hook hybrids. First there's a left hook that partially lands. Now he starts to load up with a left uppercut, and that landed.
It's more of a lead-off left hook, uppercut. Whatever it is, it's been effective.
It's landing.
It's landing.
Don't hold. Thank you.
I scored that third round for Litzau based on those punches that we just saw on the replay.
Watch your head, Rock.
So I had the first 2 rounds for Juarez, who I thought landed the more accurate, harder shots, and the last round to Litzau.
It's relatively a close fight because no one is totally dominating. It's just the guy who finishes strong in the last few seconds of the round.
Stop. Not back here. Not back here.
And second warning that Rocky Juarez has received from Jay Nady. Low full warning came in round number 1.
That's what they call a kidney shot.
Yep. Now he's warned for punching behind the back. Good digging left hand to that right flank by Jason Litzau.
You're holding him.
Well, you think Juarez would want to work a little more when he's in that prime real estate of the inside up against the chest of Litzau.
Holding.
You know, I noticed that Jason is not as reckless as he normally is. He just goes
I agree,
to work.
Ray.
There's respect here. He respects
It's a more
Rocky.
mature and controlled version of Jason Litzau than what many were so conditioned to seeing early on in his career when he became a TV attraction because of that recklessness.
There's a big change.
Picking his spots right there. A little stop and pop from Litzau.
He's looking really good this round. He's punching just enough. He's effective when he does get off. But he's not overextending himself. And I think that's wise because he's in there against a little tank. I mean, Rocky Juarez has a world-class chin.
Doug, you brought up the fact that he thinks he's cleaned things up in his life outside the ring. And in some ways that can transfer and translate to the disposition you are as a fighter inside the ring.
Absolutely. He behaved like a professional during camp, and now he's fighting like a professional. And I think he has that confidence knowing that, you know, he wasn't drinking grape soda and eating candy bars and was getting proper rest. So I think he has that confidence that he can be in there with a veteran, a young veteran like Rocky Juarez. And we're starting to see some damage around the eyes of Juarez, which tells us that Litzau is starting to get the better of his opponent. A
reminder that we invite you to participate in our broadcast tonight. Cerveza Tecate con Carácter asks who has the most character among the fighters you're seeing on our 2 undercard bouts before our main event. You can text 8814, the last name Mora, Green, Litzau, or Juarez. Sergio Mora coming up with a 7th round TKO over a game, but outclassed Calvin Green earlier.
Litzau, it looks like he's beginning to find his rhythm. That was a lead left hook and now a combination, sort of a flurry from Litzau.
Former Olympic silver medalist Rocky Juarez and a 5-time world title challenger in a fight that could very much determine his long-term future here, the way he's viewed in the sport. You talked about the fact that how many chances can you really get? At a certain point, you are what you are, right, Doug?
Absolutely, and I think there are those among the boxing writers and hardcore fight fans that'll give Juarez a pass in most of those losses, those title fight losses, because of who he lost to. Yeah, I mean, Marquez and Barrera are arguably great fighters, not just Hall of Famers, arguably great fighters.
And Chris John is somebody you could categorize as underrated, underappreciated.
Absolutely. I mean, he's unbeaten in almost 50 pro fights, so he has to be good. But if he loses to Jason Litzau, who, as you've been saying all night, has just been regarded as an exciting TV fighter, people are going to say, listen, that's it. The guy is no longer a perennial contender. Maybe he's more of a gatekeeper.
Well, Doug, how do you have things scored through 4 rounds?
I have it even. I have it 2 rounds apiece. I scored the first 2 rounds for Juarez, and the last 2 rounds, 3 and 4 for Litzau. You know, I think if Juarez were to lose tonight's fight, I don't think he'd have to hear it from the press or from fans on message boards to perhaps hang it up, because he did a lot of soul searching after his last fight, a decision loss to Chris John. He wasn't sure if he wanted to continue fighting, and he did a lot of soul searching, and he decided that he still had that fire in the belly, that he still had the desire to be a world champion.
Well, if anybody can speak to that, soul searching, thinking about, do you step away, do you not step away, where are you in your career? It's guy in between us, Sugar Ray Leonard. And Ray, I mean, that's a tough challenge. That's a tough challenge for a guy to ask himself after a defeat where he poured a lot into it. Things could have gone his way. Okay, what do I do with my career?
It's very, very difficult. You have to become humble to admit to yourself that, you know, you don't have it any longer. I see Rocky's looking great. I think he's putting up a great fight along with Jason. He's trying to cut the ring off. The only problem I'm having with Rocky, when he's inside, he has to let those hands go, both of them.
And in that respect, it's the same old Rocky Juarez. And he himself admits that he needs to start faster, he needs to be busier if he's going to win these type of fights. I'm not sure if he's doing it. I think the fight is up for grabs. You know, you can make the argument that this round is up for grabs. But
I will say this. This is still the kind of fight that if somebody just makes the decision to go out there and apply a little more and hit that gas pedal, it's going to be theirs for the taking.
I agree.
What I see happening when you're supposed to fight this guy. You're doing it good. You throw the beautiful right here, you missed it, but it was great. Keep on throwing them punches one after the other. You got to follow the jab. You got to follow the tries. Got to follow the jab. You understand? You can't throw a jab by itself. When he's starting to slow down for you. You understand? He's starting to slow down for you, but you got to take advantage of it. Don't let him set up. Don't let him set up. Okay? You hear what I said? And that right hand's got to come out right. You heard him with the right hand. That's backed up over here, but you didn't follow up. Keep your hands up, and I mean, follow the jab with something. The jab can't go by itself. And when he's moving both ways, you go down the middle, you're going to hit him down the middle. Because he ain't going to be able to move both ways. Go after him.
That was a lot to consume. A lot of instruction right there for 60 seconds.
But he told him the right thing, though, Joey. Be more aggressive and take advantage of the opportunity. And that's what he gives away. That
was Ray Ontiveros telling Rocky what to do in this round. That That's his original coach from out of the amateurs. I believe it was his amateur coach. There were a couple years where Juarez was with Ronnie Shields and training out of Shields' gym in Houston, Texas.
Juarez, a Houston-based fighter. Shields, of course, has had a good stable of contenders down there in Houston.
Juarez said he learned during those 2 years with Shields, but didn't feel it was the right fit for him, so he's back with Ontiveros.
I mean, it was a lot of talk in Juarez's corner, but it was the right thing.
So round 6 scheduled for 10.
Not too long.
And see, this, you know, also, Joe, this is when Rocky gets in trouble. This is when he falls asleep at the wheel, which I indicated. This is when he needs to pour it on, throw more punches, be more active.
You're absolutely right, Ray. Usually it's these middle rounds where it seems like Juarez falls asleep in front of the wheel, kind of goes into cruise control. And then what normally happens is the championship round, suddenly he wakes up and he starts stepping on the gas pedal, but by then it's too late.
And Doug, the thing about it, this is a close fight. This is when you really have to pour it on.
Litzau tripling up that left hand. Mouthpiece fell out there. Jay Nady quick to jump on it.
Come on, guys, hurry on.
Fighters were separated, not engaged in an exchange.
That's a good indication that fatigue has set in.
The mouth open.
But it's hard to believe that Jason gets fatigued. He throws so many punches.
Don't hold.
Probably a bad mouthpiece.
He seems to be boxing very comfortably right now.
He's stuck with the plan, Doug.
Don't hold him. Thank you.
Good right hand by Rocky.
Nice right hand by Litzau. I like that he answers. Every time he does get hit solidly by Juarez, he comes back with a bunch of punches.
And that's how he evens the score, because Jason comes back with combinations, a flurry of punches.
Left got in the mix there from Litzau. Went to the body as well. Now being more on the attack on the front end. Just missed with that right hand, but willing to trade now. There's a right hand from Juarez. Came back underneath with a right hand as well. Both men opening up here as we come to the end of the round.
You won that round completely and let him get that one shot in because you're standing in front of him. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. I want some deep breaths right now. Recovery. Listen to me. Walk around the ring, but when he gets too close, you got to throw. Don't try to always make a miss, all right? Now listen, he's going to start trying to turn it up. He wants to see if you got anything. So this is about mental shit now. You already proved you're the better fighter. Now it's about how strong are you mentally to defeat his will. Okay, so you got to move like a motherfucker. This is your life right now, okay? Go ahead, buddy.
Don't stand in front of him, Jay.
You see Jason here pouring on the pressure here. Had Juarez uppercut, but then again, here Juarez comes with the right hand. I think he really got his attention right there. I think he was in a little trouble. Jason was in a little trouble there.
So round 7 here. We're listening to Bob Van Sickle, trainer, longtime trainer for Jason Litzau, who I think it really gave us a glimpse of a lot of what we've been saying in terms of the disposition and the game plan, and a more matured and controlled, less reckless Jason Litzau. He said walk around, but then pick your spot to throw. He says he's going to turn the heat up on you, but it's time to be mentally tough. You're going to have to move. It's going to be your mental challenge against his will and desire to try to get it accomplished. But a lot of those themes that fall in line with the game plan we've seen Litzau putting forth.
I think Van Sickle has an idea that this fight could be up for grabs on the scorecards, and he seemed upset that Litzau allowed Rocky to nail him right before the end of the round, because he fears that maybe Rocky won the round, stole it.
Got a clash of heads here that's opened up a cut.
It's like a mouse right underneath the eye.
Okay?
Well, obviously, the good news for Litzau, swelling could be an issue, but the cut is below the eye.
This is when Rocky gets in trouble. All of a sudden, he allows the opponent to throw more punches, throw combinations, and he becomes a stationary target. That's a big problem of Rocky's.
Stop.
Well, I think that cut and the swelling that is beginning to set in around that left eye of Litzau's is making him let his hands go with a sense of urgency. And you got to figure that a fighter as experienced as Juarez is going to zero in on that left eye with his right hand.
Well, you know what? When you see blood, you become more aggressive. Great combination.
He's landing on it. He is going to try to contribute to that swelling as much as possible in this round.
Juarez targeting it, but then a series of left hands and a straight right from Litzau, returning fire. Sweeping overhand right, chopping down with another right hand is Juarez. Pace has picked up here in the later stages of this 7th round. You can see the blood starting to stream down the left side of the face of Jason Litzau. That clash opened up a gash just underneath that eye. Juarez being more aggressive than we saw in the first half of this fight.
Jason's trying to get a breather here, and this is when Juarez should start working the body now.
Ray, do you read anything in Litzau's body language? Does he seem like he's starting to panic?
Not as much of a bounce on his legs. That's what I noticed.
George Hernandez, the work in the cuts in the corner of Litzau.
Is that from a headbutt? I don't want to ask the ref. Ref. Was that from a headbutt?
Accidental headbutt.
And that is critical to be ruling that from a clash of heads, guys, as they wanted the clarification in the corner. Here's how it happened.
Juarez's height,
Whenever he gets in close, he's going to drop his head.
looks like the fight's over.
That surprises me. That surprises me that they are saying that the fight is over due to that. We've seen much worse with a fight continue, but the ringside physicians here are saying that is the end of it. So we will go to the scorecards as they ruled it, the cause of that cut being from a clash of heads. So a truncated fight here. We will go to the scorecards and hear what the judges have to say and get the decision. See Rocky Juarez pleading his case. He was starting to get momentum, was Juarez.
Yeah, I scored that last round, the 7th round for Juarez, so I have it 3 rounds apiece on my scorecard.
Rocky did become more aggressive and threw more punches.
Here's what happened. And waved it off. Ray, what'd you think of it, Ray? You think that fight should have been stopped due to that cut?
To me, it appears to be a little superficial. Then it doesn't seem to be a bad cut.
Nor is the eye fully swollen.
Well, I think my eye was worse than his against Turns.
Yeah, you better believe it was. In fact, you can see that just from the application, of the coagulants and the grease, it looks like it's almost a non-issue now, but they stopped it. So we will go to the scorecards here, and let's do that with Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please, here at the Mandalay Bay. Because of an unintentional headbutt, an accidental wound inflicted to Jason Litzau, the defending champion, he's unable to continue. We go to the scorecards up to and including round number 7. The scores are as follows. CJ Ross scores it 68-65. Robert Hoyle 67-66. Dick Houck also 67-66. All to the winner on a technical unanimous decision. Still NABF champion Jason, the All-American boy, Litzau.
So the technical decision unanimously goes to Jason Litzau. And if you're Rocky Juarez, you have to be so disappointed because, as we noted, and as you could see, obviously, it was just getting to the point where Juarez was starting to apply himself, Ray.
Rocky was being more aggressive. He was getting his punches in. He was getting combinations in. Tough break. Just a tough, I feel bad for the kid.
But you know what? For the fight that they did fight, it was Jason Litzau who appeared to control the action.
You know what? It kept going back and forth, and at a point, it seemed like Jason was well ahead on points. But again, great performance by Rocky.
Close fight. Litzau did what he set forth to do. Juarez was a little late in applying his game plan and getting things going, but nonetheless, Jason Litzau, the victor, 27th win of his career, and he's with Doug Fisher.
Jason, this has to be the biggest victory of your career. Can you tell us how you feel?
Well, it's the biggest victory of my career. Rocky's a true champion. But I went in this fight more calm than any other fight in my life. And I want to thank Square Ring. Hold on one minute. But nobody can't hear me. I just want to thank Square Ring and Golden Boy for giving me this opportunity. I just want to thank everybody that's came out tonight, because I knew me and Rock would give a hell of a show.
It's a tough break getting cut the way you did around your left eye, and it immediately swelled up. How did you feel you were doing at the time of the stoppage?
Honestly, I felt like I had another 10 rounds in me. I was so calm. I'd never been that calm in a fight to where I had 10 more rounds in me. I wasn't even winded. I was relaxed in the inside. I mean, you guys know how I usually fight. I was going to turn it up in the later rounds.
You're usually blood and guts, but here you're boxing well in close. Tell us what you're seeing.
I knew Rocky was coming, and I knew how strong he was, because when I sparred with him when I was 10-0, he was strong then, and I know he can only be stronger now that we're older.
Was there a key, a particular punch or a particular combination, particular strategy in being as effective as you were?
Yeah, going to the right, but I didn't do it. I mean, my coaches, my trainers, I just want to thank Buddy McGirt and my trainer and manager for the beginning of my career. I love this guy. I never thank him enough. I never even thank the damn guy, but I love him more than anybody.
Over there.
Talking about Bob Van Sickle.
Robert Van Sickle, Robert Bruce.
Now let's look at the cut here. Did you think that they were going to stop the fight after that headbutt?
Yeah, and I got a headbutted right again right after, immediately. I mean, I hate to go out like this because, you know me, I was going to turn up in the later rounds, and I knew Rocky. He was only going to get better in the later rounds, so somebody was going out.
Congratulations again on the best victory of your career.
Let's bring Rocky in here.
Rocky, tough break. It looked like you were coming on in the fight. I scored the 7th round for you. Tell us how you feel. Did you feel that you were ahead on the scorecards at the time?
Well, you know, I was going to stop him at the end. You know, I felt that, you know, of course I started slow, and that's my fault, but I felt that I was picking it up, and I even told Nady, you know, it was a punch. And I'm sure if y'all go back and look at the replay, y'all going to see that it's a punch. It was a short left hook. I remember the punch clearly. Right after that, I did accidentally headbutt him, but the first punch the cut was by a short left hook. So by them saying that it was by an accidental headbutt, I was very upset. You could see me after he had stopped it, I knew it was a punch. I mean, I'm very disappointed because, you know, this is my 6th loss. I'm not, you know, I love Jason. We know each other. We befriended each other. But I'm in a different level. I feel like I should belong with the top best fighters in the world. I knew eventually in the later rounds I was going to stop him.
So in your mind, this is not a loss. I know after your last loss against Chris John, you had to do a lot of soul searching just to come back to the ring. Do you still feel that you have that fire in your belly, the desire to still fight for a world title?
It all depends on who they're going to throw against me. You know, I'm not going to be, whether they use me as a stepping stone, I don't care. Just as long as you put me on with big name fighters, I'll take the match. I've never ducked any fighter. I've always been the type of fighter that comes to fight 110%. You know, I knew I was going to stop him. I knew eventually he was getting tired at the end, and I knew I was going to stop him at the end, towards the end of the fight. Either it was going to be the following round, the 9th round, or the 10th round. I knew I was going to eventually catch him.
Rocky, it doesn't sound like you have the gatekeeper or stepping stone mentality, so we look forward to seeing you in the ring again. Congratulations.
All right, Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Doug. So we are just about set for the rivals, Hopkins and Jones Jr., as Bernard Hopkins, the ultimate